Shoo! Look at that big nasty. It's everybody's favorite cool season grassy weed. So stick around here. I'll tell you some control options for this in cool season lawns, and we'll go over some annua control options also. Alright, for those of you who don't know, this is called trivialis. You have this and you have annua. So right now, the first of this video, we're going to cover trivialis and some control options in a cool season lawn. Actually quite a bit. This is my mom's backyard, so there's quite a bit in it. So this stuff, you know, it spreads. It's stoloniferous. And it's a perennial, so it will be back every year. It can go dormant in the summer, and then it'll be back in the fall. So, if it's there, it's coming back. So, a pre-emergent will not stop this, being it's a perennial. It's already there. Now, if there's trivialis seeds in the yard, then yes. Fall pre-emergent should handle if there's any seeds in the soil. But so with this right here, they're very, very limited right now on control options in a cool season lawn. Other than glyphosate, there is a new product coming out. It's called Velocity PM. It should be out anytime now. It is expensive, and it is going to take multiple apps. It's about $500. It used to be on the market several years ago, and they took it off the market and they reintroduced it. So, you know, if you've got a little spot of it like this, a good method to get rid of it without killing a big old spot is getting you some rubber gloves and then some cotton gloves, and that's called the glove method. So you'll put the rubber gloves on, put the cotton gloves on, and you'll get some glyphosate, and you can sit here and rub it with your hands with the gloves on. Make sure you got gloves on. Do not do this with your bare hands, please. I mean, just use common sense. You're messing with chemicals. Another method is take a paintbrush. You could paint on the glyphosate. Real good. Another little tool that would work good on this is, so this is called a weed wand. You put glyphosate in it. You can mix it with water, put glyphosate in it, and it has a foam tip applicator. And when you tap it, Roundup's going to come out of it. And, you know, it's going to target this area versus using like a sprayer, you know, a backpack sprayer or something with Roundup in it. You know, it's going to leave a big swath. So if you want to target this better, you know, those are three good control options without killing a big old surrounding area like with a backpack sprayer. It's best to do this. If you see this in your yard, it's best to leave it long. That way you can do these applications easier and have a better chance of not killing any, you know, desirable grass that may be down in there. And I forgot to mention on this trivialis, don't try to go pull this up. Being this is stoloniferous, excuse me, my allergies are killing me. Being this is stoloniferous, It spreads by stolons, and that's above ground runners pretty much. So if you don't get all this pulled out, it's going to come back. So don't even attempt to pull it unless you just pull a big section to where you don't see anymore, and then you're going to have a huge crater. So just want to make sure I mention that also. So that pretty much covers about your options for Poa-triv. I mean, you could always, spray it out and then resod, or spray it out and reseed. Obviously, if you've applied a pre-emergent, if you spray it out and reseed, you're going to have to break the soil up to break the pre-emergent barrier up to get the seed to germinate. So, those are just a few options to do this, but I always try to leave it long. Like I mentioned, it's a whole lot easier to target versus it being, the same level as the grass. So next we're going to move on to Poa annua, and we'll go from there on some control strategies for that. So stick around. So now we'll move on to everybody's second favorite cool season grassy weed, Poa annua, however you want to pronounce it. Whatever it is, it sucks, and it's a pest to get rid of. So your first and best control strategy for this is to have a dense, thick lawn. That's going to be the best option. The second best option is, and this is what I do, is I actually overseed early. Like, I'm in North Carolina, so I'll overseed the end of August, very first of September, and get this mowed twice real good, or get my new grass mowed twice real good, and get it up and apply a fall pre-emergent. And I have a video on that also. If you've got KBG or perennial ryegrass, you can't do that with a fall pre-emergent. Those grasses are just, KBG takes too long to establish, and perennial ryegrass is just too weak. The roots are too weak. But so this stuff is an annual. It comes back from seed every year. So it'll drop the seeds, and it's going to come back from the seeds every fall. When the soil temperature hits 70 and below, that's when the seeds germinate. So like when I do a pre-emergent in the fall, I try to have it down before the soil temperature, the average soil temperature, drops 70 and below. Another control strategy for this is, if it's in your lawn in the spring, you can spray a growth regulator. Annua is a good option. It's not going to kill it, but it's going to suppress the seed head growth. And you can bag the seed heads and then spray annua on it, the growth regulator, and it should stop most of the seed heads from coming back. So if it dies out, then that's going to be less seed in the ground. I used Primo Max, which is T-Nex, in the golf industry on the greens. Our greens had a lot of Poa annua in it, and we done that to suppress the seed head growth, because the seed heads affect the ball roll on the greens. So that's the reason why we done that. Another control strategy for this is Etho4SC or Progress. There's just some mixed reviews about that. I think the best option, the way to do that, is after you overseed, apply that 3 to 4 weeks after you overseed. It does have some pre-emergent effects, and it does have post-emergent effects. It seems to be the post-emergent effects are kind of lacking from what I've seen. I really don't have much experience with that, but those are some options on that. As mentioned, there is a product called Velocity coming out. It'll smoke this stuff, but just keep in mind, if these seed heads drop, they're in the soil. Velocity's not going to kill the seed heads. If you decide to do Roundup on this and the seed heads drop, they're in the soil. Roundup's not going to kill the seed heads. So if these seed heads hit the dirt, they're there. So another good option is if you don't have a ton like this, say you've got a single plant in your yard, you could take you a knife or just go and pull it. It pulls up easy. So, that's another option. If you've got just a few spots and you see the seed heads, please don't be lazy. Just go out there and pull it and, hold on to the seed heads. There's no need to go spray chemicals on a few spots of poa annua. There's absolutely no need to. Another option for this is tenacity. It's on the label. This is another one that's kind of got mixed reviews on this. It's going to take a few applications of tenacity. As I mentioned, the Etho and the Progress, that's probably going to take 2 applications. But in my opinion, the best strategy for this is 1, having a thick lawn, and 2 is using an actual fall pre-emergent like Prodiamine or Dimension. I use Dimension, and that seems to work the best for me. So I use Prodiamine in the spring, that way, and that the yearly label rate is used up, and then I'll switch to Dimension in the fall. Even if you're a little bit late on a fall application, say your temperatures have dropped, below 70 a little bit, as long as you've got that fescue mowed 2 or 3 times, go ahead and put that Dimension down. This stuff, it's not all going to germinate at one time. So, it could germinate, just say some of it can germinate in October, and then some of it can germinate in November. Some, can do December, and then it could germinate. Some of it could germinate the following spring. So those are, that's just a few more tips that I can give you as far as using a pre-emergent in the fall. And I forgot to mention, which is pretty typical for me, but as far as that triv goes back there in my mom's backyard, there is a foam applicator too. It's Roundup, and it makes foam, and you can spot it on that. But that's about all I got for this video. I could be leaving some stuff out. It's hard for me to remember everything when I'm trying to talk about it. But I just thought I'd make a quick video and tell you some strategies on how to control some of this stuff or suppress some of this stuff in a cool season lawn. So I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.